Roy Oldham,
Here.
Ryan Lambert,
Here.
Justin Travelstead,
Here.
Chuck Dupree,
Here.
Casey Perkins,
Here.
Danny Gibbs,
Present.
Mike Barnhill,
Here.
Jeff Guard, Kurt Hustedy, Gene Ellis,
Here.
Jay Williams.
Here, we have a form. Okay, at this time, if you will, I'm going to ask everybody to stand if you can, remove your caps. And our chaplain, Dr. Priest, will lead us in prayer. Then after that, remain standing, and I'm going to ask Roy Odom, if you will, to lead us in pledge.
All right, let's pray. Lord, we come to you tonight with heavy hearts. We're thankful for a life that was well lived, the service that Mike brought to this community. Lord, we're just very thankful to have people that invest in their community and try to keep vital services going. Lord, we ask you to be with his family during this time. And Lord, we pray for good people for this board for the future. Lord, we want tonight to make decisions that will be for the good of the community and decisions that are wise so that our children have good lives in the future. Lead us, we pray, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. At this time, and thank you, originally Mike, Kiss, a long-time serving board member. I talked to a few board members before, well, upstairs, before I come downstairs and asked them, and we'll give you an opportunity if you want to say something about Mike, maybe the experience that you had. Because he was here over 20 years, made a big difference in this board, not just the board, but the county, Saline County. And that was Mike's main goal, was to do the best he could do for Saline County. So, anybody got anything they want to say? I know his son brought his jacket in here, his jacket, his cap, he always had a cap, and also his glasses as well. I'd like to designate that if I could. I don't know if I have authority, but if I do, I will. But Mike always said there, Mike, that's Mike's chair. So kind of remember that. Mike McKinnon is his chair. Anybody got anything they'd like to say? Sure.
Mike was a very dedicated member. He did 100%. And when it comes to the budget, he knew how to fight it. And when you got office holders directing a board member what they need, Mike wasn't afraid to come back at them. He said, we can only do it this way. And I'm just reiterating what happened here 2 months ago. And he stood his ground. And that's the respect that I had for Mike.
I get a lot of respect from a lot of people. A lot of people might not know Mike if they saw his face, but they knew that name. They knew Mike's name. He worked hard for our county. Anybody else? Casey? No? Okay.
I would say something, Jay.
Sure.
I've served with Mike, like Danny, for years, over 10 years. I don't know how many exactly on different committees. Served with him on this budget committee, and I knew his passion for the county and county business, honesty, and Mike was always willing to step up and give his opinion on things, and I think everybody respected that. But just till here recently, didn't really know Mike's compassion for people in need. But just recently with the fire in El Dorado in the restaurant, seeing what Mike did for the workers there and everything. And got to talking to other people in the community and things that he did, deliver meals and stuff, that he never, ever said one word about it, you know. But that was a compassionate heart he had for his local community there and the service type of heart that he had. And so I always appreciated serving with Mike.
Other people don't know he was a cop before he was a firefighter. He was a dispatcher and police officer, they'll right up. Before we fire people over
Anybody else? If so,
Since Whipper mentioned him being a firefighter, I can take you back to the Crude Heart meeting that we had a special meeting for dedicating the landfill. That night we had a meeting, Mike showed up. When he showed up, he was wrapped in gauze because he had burnt both hands. But he didn't miss that meeting. That's the dedication he had. And I guess we went back 20 years.
okay, anybody else? If not, we'll move on. Okay, thank you. Always remember Mike, buddy. Okay, you should have a copy of your minutes in your folders, December the 18th, 2025. Everybody had a chance to look at them? If so, I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes, December the 18th, 2025. Motion by Justin Falston, do I have a second? Second by Casey Perkins. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Mark them all. Okay, we have unfinished business. You guys remember last month, I don't know all of you were here, but we talked about PTEL, about which direction we may go, what we can do, what we hopefully could do, I guess that's word for the people here in Saline County. It's something that was brought to our attention, and I'm glad that it was, that the county boards can do. We didn't vote on it last month. I won't throw Casey's name out here. I said that I would like to vote on it this month. You said whatever it takes, 2 or 3 months, because it has to go on the November ballot. We don't do the primary, we do it on the November. So we have time to do it. But I also know that we have people in the audience, and not just the people here, but the people that have come many times, that they want the county board to do something for them. And this is something that we can do. And I asked you if you would, at the time that we had a packet that Cheryl Pierce, our assessor, was kind enough to give to the board. Well, she had it up in her office so that you guys might want to go up and study it. If you did or not, but word kind of got around the county that the county board was going to put PTEL on the agenda to possibly pass, and then there would be a referendum put on our ballot in November for the people of Saline County to vote it up or down. Did I get that right? I think I got that right.
You got that correct.
So it's important to me. I know it's important to all of you, because I don't think there's a person on this board that wants higher property taxes. It's a mechanism that we can use. I just, I think it's time that we vote on it. And like I said earlier, what that will do will just put a referendum on the ballot for the people to vote it up or down. And I don't want to go through, you know what it is, I know what it is, what PTEL is. I don't want to go through it at this time or explain it, but it is something that can hopefully help the people of Saline County. Thank you, Danny, as well. 2 days.
Basically, where we stand with the Patel tax, I think we have 102 counties in the state. I think 49 counties are already part of the Patel. Okay, 39, okay. With that being said, a lot of people don't realize just the Harrisburg School District, not this year, but next year, for this year's taxes, because the taxes always fall a year behind. The Unit 3 has experienced a 9% increase. Following year will be another 18% increase. Okay, I don't want the county being blamed, okay, that we implemented raising people's taxes. But with the consumer price index, it's what basically most people that are on a fixed income with Social Security, that's what their pay increase is yearly on Social Security, the CPI.
CPI.
So as long as you got the CPI, any pre-existing real estate taxes cannot be increased above the CPI, okay? Now, that doesn't go for new structures, okay? That's up to the taxing bodies. But as far as a retiree, I want to be able to live in my home, and I don't want to see $100, $500, or $1,000 increase. And what we have to look at right now, if you Google the Illinois state pension debt, we're almost $200 billion in debt. Where do you think that money's gonna come from? That money will come from the real estate taxes. That, by us voting to allow the public to vote on the Patel tax. We're wanting to make a referendum for the public to vote on it, whether they want to do the consumer price index or be surprised year after year. I know the schools, they've got to do what they have to do. But we as taxpayers with property here can't afford surprises.
Anybody else? Yes, Brian.
I think if we're gonna vote on this as a board, to bring it to the people to vote on, which I agree that that's what we should do, they should have the right to be able to choose. I think also we should have some sort of responsibility to try to put some sort of education out to people and show them the pros and the cons on both sides of PTEL and how PTEL works.
Totally agree with you, Ryan. Anybody else? Yes.
I'll say, and this doesn't reflect how I'm gonna vote at all. And, because I do think it's a good thing and people deserve to know, and decide for themselves. But one thing that, as I was reading through the literature that we were given, just so it doesn't come back on us, I never heard this discussed the last meeting, but in the outline of the detail, it says a taxing district that overlaps 2 or more counties is treated differently. 2 conditions must be met before the district becomes subject to PTEL. First, all counties in which the taxing district is located must hold a referendum. Second, the majority of the taxing district's equalized assessed value must be located in counties where voters have approved the referendum. So I don't know, I'm not, I didn't write this, but, to me, that says, just as a school district, say Glacier School District, for example, lies in 3 counties.
Mhm.
Well, Hamilton and Franklin's not, I don't think Franklin is a PTEL county. So with that, to me, that says that would not apply to them unless Hamilton and Franklin also adopted it.
What do we have to do with Hamilton and Franklin since we're Gallatin?
They have to do the same thing.
What?
I don't know, it's just what they do.
They don't pay my school taxes here.
No, but your district
Hey, guys, go one at a time so we can get it.
No, like here's for zone Saline County, your townships are, of course, within the county, so it'd be like, I don't know, Glacier School District, Egyptian Hill, like El Dorado may overlap 2 counties. I don't know, just off the top of my head, so I don't know, that's what I'm saying. I don't wanna sit up here and, be blamed for misrepresentation either when I'm not 100% sure.
Right, just like Brian said earlier, we have a responsibility, I think, as a board, once we vote, place this on the ballot to educate people. And we'll have, there's certain things that we'll have to know what we're doing, what we're saying, what we're talking about, what, telling people that we get it right. But, yes, Brian, I just said it, okay. So with that being said, if there are no more questions,
I'll make a motion that we put the detailed referendum on the November ballot.
motion by Casey Perkins,
I'll second that.
second by Danny Gibbs. Want to ask for roll call vote, please?
Roy Oldham,
Yes.
Brian Lambert,
Yes.
Justin Travelstead,
Yes.
Chuck DePriest,
Yes.
Casey Perkins,
Yes.
Danny Gibbs,
Yes.
Mike Barnhill,
Yes.
Gene Ellis,
Yes.
Todd Horton,
Yes.
Jay Williams.
Yes. Thank you very much. It's just started right now. So we'll move on from here. Okay, let's go down the agenda, and I want an update. I asked Brad if he will, would you come forward and give us an update on Provalis? Please, thank you.
Hello, it's been a while. So I just had a conversation, well, I have a conversation with them at least every 2 weeks, sometimes more. Just trying to touch base, make sure that everything's still moving forward. If there's anything that has to be dealt with, we deal with it as quickly as possible. This last meeting, they absolutely said, so the mayor was there, city council was there, the 2 representatives from Corvallis was there, DCO was there, and I was there. And they said they were sorry, that they were using outside counsel. And because of holidays, conflicts with that, it kind of got stuck in motion a little. But they are moving it forward, and they look to have it out just within, hopefully, the next couple of weeks. They look to be able to have it back to the city, we hope within the next, few weeks anyway. But they said on the phone that they were very dedicated to it, and they were going to push it forward. And then at that point, it would be in the city's hands then to execute it further from there. So, good news. Unfortunately, it's not been timely, but, sometimes when you're dealing with these kind of things, they aren't very timely. Yes, sir.
So by the end of the year, we could possibly have new jobs in Saline County, and are we still looking at possibly 150 new jobs?
Yes. I don't think if we can get things moving pretty quickly here, that's not unrealistic whatsoever. Being able to have now, not all 150, but, within just a few years after that, whatever they agreed with, the contractual arrangements, because that has a sliding scale. And they're motivated to do it because if they don't hit the sliding scale, then they have to start paying back the city for whatever they're missing in terms of their numbers. So, yes, sir.
And Brad, what you were talking about with council is they're just waiting for a contract to get
Yeah,
thrown
they're,
up to the city, so the city can sign it, Corvallis can sign it,
yes,
and then it's
it's
a
a development agreement, yes. And it's in their hands, they're finalizing it, then the, what I call C-suite, but, CEO, COO, CFO, they all have to review it to make sure that they're okay with it as well before it gets sent to the city. And then once it's in the city's hands, then, if they don't have any issues with it or whatever, then they'll be able to continue to move forward. But as of right now, it's moving forward. And they were very pointed when they said that. I was pleasantly surprised.
Brad,
Yes, sir.
I know I'm just maybe going back a little bit, because we've got people now that are listening that they don't have a clue who Provalis is, they don't know what you're talking about. So kind of explain to them real quick, or, just a minute or two, what it means to Saline County and the city of Harrisburg.
So Provalis is basically, for lack of better terms, an IT suite company. So they provide all kinds of services. They do cybersecurity, they do programming, they do tech work. They do, they take care of like tier 1, 2, and 3 issues for companies with, their systems. So they really cover a gambit in terms of services. Like they have, companies like Chick-fil-A, the Dallas Cowboys. They also work with several other major companies around the country. They are in 14 locations. It was 10 about 4 months ago. They're in 14 locations now. They continue to grow at a very rapid pace, but you don't find a whole lot of companies that's willing to come in and make the investment, that they're willing to make as far as employees, to do that work and then to try to give back like they do in terms of the community. So you're looking at least 150. I look for them to hit that mark, within a few years. And then I truly believe that they'll be looking to expand after that. They do pay benefits as well. So I'm not exactly sure what their pay scale is. I know it'll be, above minimum wage, but what that looks like, I don't know. But the more skills that you have, the higher the rate goes. And you also have the ability to learn in-house. They do all their training in-house. So you have that ability to learn in-house and continue to take additional jobs and additional pay inside, the corporate structure, that they do. And so there's a lot of folks that will work their way up and they'll even leave and get other jobs. And that's okay with Provalis because Provalis believes in people, and that's what they're driven to is people that work for them. So there's a different mindset in terms of how they address their business model. So
Thank you.
then,
Yeah, well, you said 150 jobs, but we're looking possibly up to two and a quarter
sure,
jobs,
could be
local
more,
jobs.
could be more.
Local jobs.
There are, like in Bruton, Alabama, there are about 325 right now. They started out at 150, let's see, this 7 years ago, I believe. They're at 325 now. Bruton, Alabama is about 5,800 population. So they draw from a fairly large pool within, an hour's drive. And please, if you want an update or you want to talk, don't hesitate. Paige has got my contact info, Jay, Ryan, don't, if you got a question or you're kind of want additional information, just call. We'll work it out. Okay.
Getting closer. Thank you. Thank you. Is she? Okay, let's move on down. Next on the agenda, Megan Alisi. Come on up, Megan. You're going to give us a 6-month update, I understand. I didn't see you back there. I didn't know if you were here or not.
Yes.
Thank you.
I have knock these papers up. I brought some packets for the board. So, I just wanted to come back and kind of, get a good faith progress update. You guys were so generous to us as the Via Del Rosa Recovery Center came in several months ago. And we asked for some of the opioid settlement money that the county had received. And unanimously, we got a yes, and just forever grateful for that. So having said that, we've had a lot of renovations that have happened with that money. And so we just wanted to come back to show you guys the project, or the project, my words are failing me, to the progress that we have made. So in your package, you're gonna see just a quick overview of what the $100,000 that we got from you guys did provide us the funds to do. And then these aren't all the pictures that I had, that I could have filled 10 pages with them. So I just picked some before and after to show you guys some of what we have worked on. So again, I just wanted to thank you guys, come back in here and let you know where we are at. Our project has taken a little longer than we wanted to, but we always talk about funding, and then, and with projects like this, funding is available, but there's more funding available once the center's open, as far as grants go and stuff. Once the center renovations are finished and the women come in and they are in there and they are in the program, then you're open up to, just a whole other realm of funding opportunities through grants and things like that. But having said that, you guys were one of the first people to sow into this ministry and to partner with us in this vision. And so we just wanted to come back again, thank you and update you. It is in your packet. What we have done, we did give H.E. Mitchell 3 bids, the construction bid. And we have done a lot of demolition, a lot of installation. So we tried to keep as much locally. We wanted to work with local businesses on this project. So as you'll see in your packet, we've got the flooring has been removed. This is the old Magnolia Manor for those that are watching online or don't know. This is the old Magnolia Manor shelter care in El Dorado, over by the library. So it was a big project. Lots of repairs that needed to be done, great bones in the facility, but again, been sitting dormant for a long time. So it was a huge undertaking, but we felt like it was where God had led us to be, and it's the perfect setup for what we are trying to do there. So we have the flooring has been completely removed. Parks Plumbing has fully re-roughed all plumbing throughout the project areas that we were focused on. All new HVAC units for the entire project have been purchased by D&D Electric. Ductwork is fully installed in the first half of the building, and the units are already purchased and secured in storage and will be installed once the on-site work is picked up and continued, just because in the beginning we did have some theft issues, break-in, and we have also put together some security measures to keep that from happening. Pleased to report that we haven't had that happen in a long time, so we're thankful for that. The D&D has completed all electrical work throughout the entire facility. New LED lighting has been installed in every room, as well as the main and common areas in the kitchen. The walls and ceilings have been fully sanded and repaired, as well as all, the penetrations have been patched, primer, first coat, paint has been applied to all of the walls and ceilings in half of the building, and Parks Plumbing has come in and they have roughed in new shower and tub combinations. They've removed all the old stuff that didn't need to be there in preparation for all the new stuff to come in. So that's where we're at. That's what the $100,000 that you guys gave us so generously has went towards. Any additional information that you guys would want as far as invoices or pictures or any of those things, or even if you guys ever want to come and do a walkthrough on the building and see it for yourself, just reach out to us. We would love for you guys to be involved in that, because like I said, you guys are one of the first people to plant seeds of hope in this. Another thing that I did want to say is it has, it's taken us longer than we had originally hoped. I am passionate about this because I'm a person who had to go through one of these programs in order to stand where I stand today. So it's a burden that every day that we're not finished, my heart's heavy because I see another person arrested or in the water, or another mother just lost her kids, or someone that's died of an overdose. And so it's deeply personal to me to get this up and running. I am pleased to say that construction is getting ready to resume. Our contractor is ready to pull the trigger and go again at the beginning of February, with the intent that the project, what is left to finish, should take roughly 2 months. And then we will work on filling the building with the appliances and things that we need, bedding, and getting it ready for the women to be able to come in. So our tentative opening date is sometime in the middle of this year. Like I said, funding had halted a little bit. We are back on track. We have really been blessed over the past couple of months to have some amazing churches come in and partner with us, and they are doing that in a large way, but also in monthly tithing, monthly missions donations to us, as well as individuals in the community place sowing rather large financial seeds into this. So we are ready to pick back up construction. So if we just wanted to come up here and just update you guys so that you knew, because you gave us the money, but now where are we? So just letting you know that's where we're at. We're still on track. We are moving forward, boots to the ground, to open up the center and to just become a beacon of hope for the women in this community that need this service, because we know that there are many. We see it every single day. And so, we've developed relationships with certain organizations that also do this recovery work, Egyptian, SI Support, CIRAC, all of these stress and trauma. We've developed a relationship with them for the kiddos that come in that might need services with their parents because of trauma that has happened. So, they are willing to do counseling with the mothers and the children that have gone through these cycles of addiction and incarcerations and whatever have you. So we do have a lot of those in place. We are working on continuing to build those relationships and develop our curriculum, which we've pretty well got nailed down. So we're getting there. Middle of this year is our tentative opening.
Board have any questions for Megan? Not, thank you, Megan. Coming and giving us an update.
Did you do your rehabilitation in Washington, Indiana?
I certainly did. I overstayed my welcome there. So, it's a 9-month to 2-year program over there. And I'm gonna be really honest because that's who I am. So I stayed the 9 months. I completed the program right on track. But what got me there, and I preach this all the time, and sometimes it's not as accepted of you by other people, but what I know from my life to be true is this, is that a lot of times different things push people to go to treatment. We would love for it to be that they wake up one morning tired and say, today's the day. Today I want to change my life. But in a lot of situations, in most situations, it does not happen that way. It didn't happen that way for me, although I wish that it did. It happened because I woke up and I looked at my judici in Saline County and realized I had 3 open felony cases here. I had a couple over there. And I thought, okay, it's this or prison. And that's why I went. And so I hear a lot of times, because I get it, as a community, we see the downside, we see the devastation of addictions, right? And we see that more than we see the comeback stories. And that's what we've been trying to change. I also work with the Saline County Outreach, and that's what we've been trying to change, is to bring forward the positive part that people are recovering and we are doing it in this community and coming back to make a difference. But yes, I did go there, walk through the doors because it was that or prison. Was there for 2 weeks because I didn't want to go to prison, and then about 3 weeks in, that all shifted, and I was there because I knew it was where I was supposed to be. God had a calling on me. He kind of radically reached down and grabbed a hold of me, and the trajectory of my entire life changed, to where on February 17th of this coming month, I will have 6 years entirely clean and sober, total restoration of families. So that's what we want to do, without having to have women leave our county, go over to Washington, Indiana, or Vincennes, Indiana, and do it over there. And then once they recover, they stay over there, become productive members of society, earn degrees, they, get their kids back, they get jobs, they pay taxes, they, like I said, they get their degrees and they go to work for organizations, and then they do what I'm doing, right? They begin to change lives over there, but they don't do it here, but they're from here. So giving them that opportunity to have a space to do that here and to become those people here is going to it's going to better serve our community, because we will have them here. Well, have them to branch off and say, my life's different, I want to give back, and then pursue their education, pursue their purpose that God has on their life, pursue the vision that they've always had for themselves, but never thought that they could achieve because they didn't know how to pull themselves out, and there was nowhere to pull themselves out here, to become that hand that reaches down and says, I can help you, and I can stand with you until you're able to do this on your own, and we're going to show you how to do it and walk with you every step of the way. So that's our goal at the adult.
So this facility is for women and children.
It is for women, and like the Lighthouse and the House of Victory, a lot of times, unfortunately, once women get to reach the point that they need to go to treatment, they have either lost their children entirely, their children are in DCFS custody, but there are women, and there are cases where women still have their children with them. And it's hard because, you have 30, 60, 90-day programs that are local, and they're great programs. But by the time a woman needs to go to treatment, most of the time, they've also burned most of the bridges that they have. And so, or they have parents or grandparents that are elderly, and if they have multiple children, like, who keeps those kids while they go to treatment? It's hard. And so, House of Victory and Lighthouse, they allow those women to bring their kids with them, to work their DCFS plan, to do all of those things, to get their kids enrolled in school, make sure that if they haven't been to the doctor, that they get into the doctor, that they get the trauma services that they need, because they've been drugged from place to place and been in a cycle of not addiction of their own, but of their parents, just unhealthy behaviors. And so being able to help not just the mom, but the children as well. Or women come to treatment because they have a DCFS case and it's required. So to be that place where, once they get to the point where reunification is the goal, or even overnight visits or monitored visits, or then weekend visits, and then trial home visits, and then you get your kid back to be that place that goes to those DCFS meetings with them, that attends court dates with them, to make sure that, that the court and everyone knows, like, they are actually doing this program. And then once they are at that reunification point, having a safe place for these women to have their children to come to, and then outsourcing after they are finished with the program, having having things in place for them to be able to transition safely out to a healthy environment, healed and ready to, like I said, become productive members of society, and the mothers that they were called to be, or the people that they were called to be. So that is our part and our goal.
Thank you very much for your.
Thank you, Megan, appreciate it. Come back anytime.
I'll be back, I'm sure.
Okay, thanks for the update, appreciate it. Let's move on to, this time to new business. Rod called, Rob Wallace, where you at? There you are. And asked me on the agenda, and I said, yes. He wants a discussion on taxes. Rod, if you will, come on up to the microphone. And thank you.
Well, I will say this, most of my visits to the county board have been over taxes.
And I was pleased to see you guys step up and vote for detail. I think education is gonna be key to the public. You know, I was here in 2013 talking about some of the same things that I'll be talking about tonight. At that time, the population in Saline County was about 8,800, and I understand it's about 7,700. I had a young man by my office on Monday talking to me about even the population in Harrisburg unit high school, and it's like 420. Was the census count as of the last Friday. Now, I remember in Harrisburg, in the Tate in the south side, they had to have an enrollment of 751 to be in AA sports, and they were always there year after year. At the end of the day, we're not. You guys, have a responsibility in that as well, because some of you folks were on the board when I was here 10 or 11 years ago. And I was talking about this big old flashing light traveling down the road that says danger, bridge out ahead. We didn't even course correct. We actually stuck our foot on the gas. And that's why we find ourselves in the position that we're in today. Some of you weren't here then, but some of you were, and you were, probably recall some of the conversation. And I think Danny was talking about this detail 10 years, 12 years ago, a long time ago. Nobody paid any attention. It's commendable that you guys are now. I don't know where in that process. I was talking to a young man from the city here before I came in, and he was telling me that the houses that get into dilapidation now in this city are 2 times, they're doubling almost every year, the houses that they're having to tear down. I remember spending 10 or 12 years ago an afternoon with Joe Jackson, driving around the community, talking to him about that very thing. And now it's just accelerating. My suggestion to you folks, honestly, you need to get a member of all the taxing bodies together where the public can talk with them about it. Because at the end of the day, this has got to change, or you're not going to have anything left to govern. You just want to govern over the ashes. That's where we're headed. I've got for you, where you can see the population year over year by Saline County, from Saline County. And in 2000, we were at 26,000. And in 2023, that's 2280. So you're off 15%, 20%. At what point in time do you get this spiral to stop? Mr. Harbison was chairman the last time I was here and had this discussion. And his comment to me was, well, Rob, the whole state of Illinois is in disarray. He's right. Nothing's changed there. We're not responsible for the state of Illinois. This board is responsible for Saline County, a portion of Illinois. And, I sat at that school board meeting the other night, and I listened to those people, watched those people, listened to those like me who were talking about just the property tax, the implications of under tax legislation. 9% this year, compounded with 17 or 18% next year. Once again, not giving any thought to the taxpayer that's sitting there paying the tax. Let's just put our foot on the gas and run straight off the bridge. And that's what's happening. Just watch how bad this impacts you over the next 3 years. People are leaving. And my daughter and son, who both left here, my daughter said it best. She said, if not us, who? Who's going to break the cycle and get out from underneath this ridiculous servitude that we're living in? And if not now, when? They both left. They both have master's degrees. They're no longer in the community. And that may not matter to some. It matters to my wife and I. I'm hanging on to a business right now I've had 2 years I've had losses, and I've been open since 1984 in Summit County. Last year was one of them. And a big part of that was all these stinking increases that just keep coming. Whether it's insurance, taxes, all of it mounts up. We don't employ a lot of people anymore. There was a time we employed 75. And I can tell you this, you all aren't gonna get any businesses interested in coming here if it's not a good, conducive environment. You know, you can only build so many coffee houses. You're only gonna sell so much coffee. Without manufacturers, like people like me, which is where the money starts, it's hard to continue to grow fast. You look at your gas stations the same way. A new one will open, but an old one will close. Only so many gallons of gas are gonna be sold in some county. That's the way it works. You gotta have real growth. Real growth comes at the grassroots level. Like I said, with businesses like ours, employ people that build something from raw steel or raw plastics, whatever product. Service businesses are great, but you gotta have people to service. Once again, you look around and you look at your population and it's declining. I mean, it's in a free fall. And at the end of the day, I guess you all have options. You pay attention to it or you don't pay attention to it. That's up to you. But I made these for you so you all can look at it. I'll make it easy. Pass it down. In all honesty, folks, I am still here because I have people that have worked for manufacturers. And I've got a few guys behind me that are on far retirement and I'm trying to get them out. Past that, I don't know who will be here because there's no economic incentive for those two people. Hopefully we'll have a little better year this year than we had last. I don't know what that remains to be seen. It looks like it might be a little better. At this point, honestly, I'd be happy with breaking even. I've got about 3 or 4 years left. So regardless of what happens, you know, you look at a business like mine or anybody else's. I'm keeping mine open for personal reasons for employees. But any businesses that are going to come up behind me, guess what they have to do? They have to make money to stay open. I think there's a lot of issues that need to be dealt with. I think there's a lot of nonsense that goes on in offices, and there's a lot of overspending that goes on, and people aren't paying attention because they don't have to. They just go back to the taxpayers. The taxpayers are taxed out. That's the bottom line. Look around. I think, Jay, yeah. Did I make that statement right, Jay? There's your answer, folks. You know, and your property tax is going down because places like that are falling into disrepair. The city winds up with, and they sell them off for pennies on the dollar. And nobody's building back anything new. I mean, this ought to be alarming. This is like a 5-alarm fire burning. And nobody's really paying a whole lot of attention to it. Just let it burn to the ground. Like I said, I don't know what you're gonna do, roll over the ashes. That's where it's headed, if there aren't some changes made. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ron. Down to the office holders report. You got any office holders here that would like to report?
Mr.
Yes,
Chairman,
Whipper.
I try to give more, I'd like to give my time until we get to negotiations. Some questions, comments, and concerns about the contract, that may or may not be signed.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Let's go down to the budget committee. I took this upon myself, just a couple, but of course Mike was always chairman of the budget. I asked Ryan Lambert if he would take that over for now, and he said yes. And I want to thank you for that, Ryan, if you will, give us a report.
Yeah, we're taking open applications if anybody wants to be the chairman. Mr. Chairman, this time I asked Jeremy to walk you forward. to our financial report.
Evening, everyone. We got January 22nd, 2026, second month of our year, fiscal year. Our revenues for the month, 1.149,444.37. Expenditures up till today, $677,000. This balance as of today, $471,796. Our expectation of the claims was this evening was $375,501.90. So far through the year, first 2 months, we've done well, staying ahead of where we were on sales tax. So if you look at our revenue, $337,759 in December, just sales tax of $338,639, both are better this year, year over year over last year. So sales tax remains strong, so that's promising. You know, we kind of beat the other staff and the circuit clerk. Unfortunately, there's no tax law, just the way the system is operating in Illinois. We took a beating in revenue from the circuit clerk's office. Just on the judicial side, and on house and prisoners as well. We do so much, but that's all we can do. We have to work within all the state statutes of this wonderful state.
Excuse me, Jeremy, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So the sheriff's office, they're doing without those funds that we had 2 years ago.
No,
Is he
they're still funded.
Yeah,
So
okay.
we've funded everything within the budget. I think we're gonna talk about that later in the negotiations, you know, some extra funding there. But I mean, everything has been funded. We have just had to do more with less
Without,
percent.
with less.
So
How much less?
about $250,000 a year, and from
$250,000?
Yeah, from that side, yeah. So thankfully, the sales tax is held strong and picked up some. So we're good, fine. We have 2.3 million reserves. So this year isn't, I think as the gentleman pointed out a while ago, I'm not worried about this year or next year. It's just, you're gonna look out 5 years down the road. And the 6 years that I've been here, our annual average levy increase for just Saline County portion is under 1%, it's 0.67% percentage point each year, average. I think 1 year we did 2.2, and that was the highest. So we've just worked really hard. Mike McInnes, Brian, and Mike Barnhill, everybody I've worked with has worked tremendously hard on budget and trying to rein it in, because we know that there is that issue, and that is something that we have really worked on and tried at the same time giving back to the employees as well. So it's hard. Unfortunately, we're a county with a small county with a whole lot of felony cases and trial cases, and the circuit clerk's office is overworked. I do know that. If you compare county to county, you know, we were just, my understanding, we're just right behind Jackson County on felony cases, and Mary could probably do a better job on that. And obviously, we're way smaller than Jackson County. And so we're third in our district. So, and we're just right behind Jackson County. So we're doing, how many people do they have in their circuit clerk's office? You know?
In their circuit clerk's office, they have about, I called and asked, they have about 19 people in their
19,
office.
Because I think, I want to say Williams County's around 31. You have, what?
Williamson County has more people than my
Yeah.
office too, and they are
Yeah.
close with us too, with numbers. And I think they have about 15.
Yeah. So just saying, so we really try to balance everything out, run our court system, run the sheriff's department, just to give the funds needed to do that. So we have tried to do that, and then we've also at the same time been able to pile some money away for a rainy day fund, basically. But we just have to watch everything every month. We've gotten many grants. And that's been fortunate. Our board secretary has helped with that as well. Right now, we have, $224,000 out of our general fund, just funding grants. So hopefully that'll be coming in the next few weeks as well, so it come back in our general fund account. But that being said, any other questions?
On the bottom of the last page on revenue, am I reading this right where it says, at the very end, the actual year-to-date revenue is 1.1 million? But we were expecting, it says year-to-date, 6.4 million.
That is correct. What page are you on?
Very last one, lower right corner.
Oh, you're talking about,
We're expecting.
so,
Is that 6.4?
yeah, that is expected year to date. That just needs to be updated actually. So, the year to date is just calculating everything that we calculate on this page that we're expecting. So if you line the top.
For the whole year?
Yeah,
Or just up to this point in the
That's for
year?
the whole year.
Okay.
These revenues.
All right.
We have a $10 million budget, might as well say, so that's kind of.
Any other questions?
We don't have any Joe Myers resolutions as well. And I just want one thing to say, it was a privilege working with Mike McKinnis. He served his community well, he tried hard, and he was always willing to answer the phone at any time.
Thank you. Anything else? Okay, Claims Committee, which was another committee that Mike was over, chairman of, and I put Todd in the chairman right now, Todd Wood.
So we met twice this month as usual, and we'll sign claims. We'd like to see if we approve today.
Is that a formal motion? Motion by Todd to pay bills, second by Gene Ellis. Roll call vote, please.
Brian Lambert,
Yes.
Justin Travelstad,
Yes.
Chuck DePriest,
Yes.
Casey Perkins, Danny Gibbs,
Yes.
Mike Barnhill,
Yes.
Gene Ellis,
Yes.
Todd Horton,
Yes.
Roy Oldham,
Yes.
and Jay Williams.
Yes. Motion carried. Anything else, Todd? No? Good. Okay, let's turn pages. Go down to the negotiations committee and Mr. Roy Oldham.
Yeah, I'd like to finalize the Flintstones office contract. Just like all the rest of the contracts, 4.4% increases. Pretty much everything is like all the other contracts. We did change the language where the starting pay for that office is now the same as circuit clerks.
Okay.
So, but other than that, that's not it. There's other changes, so I'd like to make a motion that we accept.
I'm glad that's done. Okay, so there's a motion by Roy.
Discussion.
Yes.
There was, I know there was some discussion earlier about retirees insurance.
No, it's not in there.
Okay.
No. So Barnhill, Mike Barnhill, second motion. That was not in there, no.
Okay.
No. Okay, so we have a motion, we have a second. And, yes?
Yeah, I'd just like to comment that I appreciate the work that the negotiating team did on this. They came a long way. They did some good things for the taxpayers. But our consumer price index is still around 2.7%. And this is my perspective. I don't think it's good to do 3-year negotiations for 4.44 when inflation is around 2.7 and expected to be even lower. So I would hope in the future that when we do negotiations that we would do maybe a 1-year contract, something that's closer to the consumer price index. Now, do the people who work in these offices deserve the 4%? They probably deserve 10% if money grew on trees. But the taxpayers of the county are the ones that's footing this, and if we are gonna help our county, we're gonna have to buckle down some of those things. So for that reason, you know, I didn't vote for 444 the last time for that reason. So to be consistent, I'd have to vote no on this. And it's nothing against the negotiating committee or even the state's attorney for asking. You know, if you don't ask, you don't get. I just want to clarify that.
Okay, got it. Anybody else? We have a motion and we have a second. So roll call, please.
Justin Turlstead?
Yeah.
Chuck DePriest?
No.
Casey Perkins?
Yes.
Danny Gibbs?
Yes.
Mike Barnhill?
Yes.
Gene Ellis?
Yes.
Todd Horton?
Yes.
Roy Oldham?
Yes.
Ryan Lambert?
Yes.
Jay Williams?
Yes. Motion carried. Anything else, Roy?
No.
Okay, thank you. Let's go down to the ordinance committee.
Okay.
Yes. I didn't see, I'm sorry.
No, well, I asked earlier if I could defer my time until the negotiations.
Come on up.
Just as a matter of transparency, we had agreements, that I could not resolve at my level. I forwarded to, and board Dick Page, spoke with Barkey. It's been an oversight for years. When a holiday comes up and I've got 7 people working in the jail, there's no court, there's no doctor trips, there's no federal trips. So I encourage people, hey, 1, 2, 3, take off today, so I don't have to pay extra. The contract did not allow that, since the last one, some language changed. So I spoke with Barkey and he got that stricken today. So there was one holiday that affected, but basically we're going back to an earn and burn. The contract didn't allow you, if you didn't work that day, you couldn't earn that day. And it always has been that way in the past. So, if Jean calls in sick on a holiday, she doesn't get to take the holiday out later. If Roy works it, he gets her overtime and his overtime. So basically, we've eliminated, if you don't earn a day by taking off, everybody's gonna be in the house, and I've gotta pay a ton of money. So we're going back to encouraging extras to take off. If we don't have court, we don't have doctor trips, we don't have vending transports. And, so I think that's been cleared up. There was only one holiday affected, Martin Luther King. So we've got that fixed. The other thing is, on the contract, I thought the contract would be approved for the dispatchers and the jailers that's over a year past due also. So I just wanted to check on that again. You know, that's
Yeah, it probably would have gotten done tonight, but, I heard that you were unhappy, you were going to say that it's going to cost this county $90,000, the standard for say it's going to cost us $90,000 more.
Well, thanks for saying.
So I thought that revisit this and just table this to next month.
Well, I mean, really my concern is not how many days off you give anybody. That's your business. My business is, are you gonna fund those days off? Not to take anything away from anybody in this building, but if you've got 10 women or men that work in the clerk's office, 3 of them take off, you file a lot less papers that day. I've got 10 people working and 3 of them take off, I've got to replace it, which costs overtime. Because we don't get less calls, we don't get less inmates, we don't get less, service. So my concern is not how many days you give them off, is if you only have the money to cover those days, because I gotta replace my house. They can't just take off and we run without. We have minimum staffing.
Well, I understand, but I was given an hour's notice that you said it's going to be $90,000 increase.
So it's gonna be more than that.
Okay, that's something we need to talk about, not just have something that's going on tonight.
Well, I brought this up 2 months ago. This is not a new topic, this is something I brought up months ago. You guys can give them all the time you want, that's your business, but you have to fund it. I can't tell you, all right, I'm gonna give you, 96 more hours off, and then not fund that 96 hours, because if Jean takes off 96, I gotta pay you overtime to cover her hours.
I'm not disagreeing,
Yeah.
I understand it's something we need to talk about, more than an hour's worth of notice.
Well, I got it today too, so.
Okay,
Well, so let me ask you this then. If this comes to fruition, there's a contract signed. The budget submitted, I submitted a budget, I'm operating on 45,000 less this year than I had last year. I made some pretty serious cuts to help the taxpayer out. So that was my portion. Your portion is the salary, that's what you folks negotiate. So let's say you negotiate 50 cents. Does that 50 cents go into the contract or into my line item? Or do we wait till the end of the year when I'm over budget? Because that's what I want to avoid. That pink budget over there was designed on last year's salary. So if there's a salary increase, that's certainly we're gonna go with that number. And I wanna make sure the money gets put in the line item rather than say, well, you gotta make it. We can't make it. If you give them a 4% raise, I'm not saying they don't earn it, because they certainly do. They've been without a contract for 13 months. But whatever you give them, whether it's time or salary increases, has to be funded to survive that budget. I've been chief or sheriff since 2015. I've never failed the budget. I've never been over budget, not a penny. I don't want to start now. Thank you.
Yes, Brian?
Whipper, I just think that as budget chairman, when negotiations are done with the sheriff's department, I think if you wanted to sit down and have a conversation.
Well, just what I'm afraid of is we'll give you money at the end of the year. Well, that ain't how it works at your house, that ain't how it works at the sheriff's office either. If the contract pay goes up $100, I don't want you to tell me, well, we'll put $100 in at the end of the year. No, that ain't how it works. I gotta have $100 paying for the year because I don't want to go over budget.
I don't think I'm gonna set a budget here in open meeting, so.
Yes, no, you get what I'm saying though. I just want to know that whatever that increase is put into that pink book there.
I think that's what we'll sit down and look at.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you. Ordinance, let's go back to Ryan.
Oh, my backup ordinance, okay. Mr. Chairman, I've got two items of business. First is, Wolf Creek Solar, which is the 800-acre solar farm. I would say north of Muddy, on the north side of 45, there's about 800 acres, 250 megawatt facility, just like all these facilities are coming to the point in time where they're wanting to secure financing, and like the rest of them, they kind of want a conditional letter of approval. The only thing that conditional letter of approval says is that once you meet our solar farm ordinance, the third-party engineers reviewed it, and we've received all your bonding and your fees, then we will give you a permit for construction. So that's what they're coming to at this time now, and I would ask for a motion that we give, they're actually called US Solar, a conditional letter of approval, so they can move forward with financing.
Okay, so motion is second by Gene Ellis.
And this is farmland, right?
Most of it's farmland. It's between 45 and 37 there north of Muddy. A lot of it's lower lying property there, but I'd say most of it's solar.
Roll call vote.
Chuck DePriest,
No.
Casey Parkins,
Yes.
Danny Gibbs,
Question. The proposed taxes received from the development, goes to which school?
That would go to, that's a good question.
Ryan, I think
I would
that
say
one was
most of
both.
it, huh?
I think that when they came, that was both. It was El Dorado
Yeah, I
and
think
Harrison.
part of it goes to El Dorado and part of it goes to Harrison.
And what increase are we talking about for the schools?
That's a sheriff question, not me, I don't do taxes.
But this is our job. You got me?
Yeah.
Because we're not charging them a kilowatt usage. Okay? We basically, last meeting, we gave away service rights for $4,000 for a 30-year contract. Which I was a no vote. I'm just saying, we're doing the same thing with the solar farming in our community that we did with the coal industry. And we never taxed the coal industry. And they had a loophole in there.
I think the difference between coal and solar is as long as coal was sold outside the state of Illinois, you didn't receive a tax on it.
So it hit the barge, went around the corner, and came back. Okay? That's the difference. What I'm saying is, we have an opportunity to earn something, and we're giving it away. At what point?
I think Cheryl would probably answer that question. We don't set up a tax law on
No.
assessing solar farms.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Ryan, or Danny.
Or Cheryl, wasn't that once upon a time farm ground, which is assessed at the lowest of the low? And now when you get commercial, when you get these solar panels, when you get these solar, people, it will go up, commercial.
In solar, yes, the taxes will go up, the assessment will go up, the solar company will pay on those taxes. Their cash value is $218,000 per megawatt. Then you have a trending factor applied to that, then you have a depreciation factor applied to that. You take that times a third, then you take that times whatever the tax rate, the district that it sits in, and you come up to your tax dollars per megawatt.
Okay, so that's our increase.
So it's not really an increase unless the taxing body asks for more money.
It's an increased assessed value.
It's an increased assessed value.
Okay, now Cheryl's here and we were on a roll. I'm not a,
We add the assessed value to the tax rate, so it's increased in the tax rates. So I think what you're asking is how much revenue?
Well, I think at one point, we considered farm ground to be $214 an acre. What is solar at per acre, 1,800?
No, solar pool value is 218,000 times, I think the trending factor last year was 1.26, and you divide that by a third. So I would have to figure per acre.
You gotta go back to where it was.
It's per megawatt. It's assessed per megawatt.
But Cheryl, just for discussion purposes, it's gonna be a substantial increased assessed value
Yes.
on that 800 acres of what it was before.
Yes.
Even if the taxing bodies didn't ask for an extra penny, once that goes on the tax rolls, everybody else's property taxes should go down because of that increased assessed value.
You know,
That was my question to the
taxing
judge.
bodies.
Yes,
You know,
and that's-
that-
You know, if we give it to the schools, then the schools should reduce our real estate taxes.
They don't, they're asking for a dollar amount, they just can't go and ask the solar farm to give them more, right? So it's all based on the assessed value. That's where everybody gets confused at, in all the taxing situation here. Because if you ask for $10 million and you, for instance, the El Dorado School District, I think their EAD last year was 80 million, 80 something million. So with the new solar farm, I think with the second, we were talking about coming in, solar 1, solar 2, it's gonna be $20 million in new EAD for that school district. So that means they just took 20% of burden off the whole, that's really how you have to look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no new revenue per se, it's just who's paying more now. Now, the numbers that the solar companies are presenting are based on computation rates. So if the school districts keep these computation rates the same, yes, that's how you would get more money, because your EAD goes up, but, that's how it works.
I'm just trying to explain it to the public in layman terms, because every time we turn around, we've got another solar farm coming in.
There is the ability to go get more revenue, but you have to ask for that revenue. But even if you don't ask for that revenue, those people are paying more shares because that value went up. So everybody else around the community should be paying less. Right?
Correct.
Chair Jeremy?
That is correct.
That is how it should work. So it's a benefit to taxpayers.
We just haven't seen it yet, right?
We don't have it. I mean, Harrisburg doesn't have it. Nowhere.
But El Dorado does.
They're just receiving it this year, this next tax year.
25 payable from 26, I will receive.
Are the solar farms operating like 20, 40, 60, 80? 100% 5 years for the receipt?
It's only for the county, only for the county. School district's 100% first year.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So how do you vote?
So how do you vote?
Yes.
Mike Barnhill,
Yes.
Gene Ellis,
Yes.
Todd Horton,
Yes.
Roy Oldham,
No.
Ryan Lambert,
Yes.
Justin Travelstead,
No.
and Jay Williams.
Yes. Your motion carried.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The other thing on, ordinance committee, we met with, Gene, myself, and Jeff met with the tourism board. We had redid their ordinance several years ago, which included some things that they wanted out of the ordinance, and we didn't include some things that they wanted in the ordinance. So I will tell you the two big changes, and then we'll go from there. The two big changes were in the original ordinance, the tourism board had to give 5% of their money to El Dorado Museum and 5% to Harrisburg Museum. That was taken out of this ordinance. Their rationale was they give more than 5% to those areas here. The second thing was, if you look on page 4, there's an area here that says county authority to inspect records. And basically this says, anybody who's responsible for paying a bed tax, if, Jeremy wants to appoint somebody, he can appoint somebody to go into those establishments and demand that we look at their books for inspection and make sure they're paying the bed tax. And then, right below that is enforcement by the state's attorney. And the enforcement by the state's attorney part there basically just says, if you're not paying the bed tax, the state's attorney's gonna enforce that you pay the bed tax. How are they gonna enforce you pay the bed tax? I don't know, it doesn't really say. But, we asked that this ordinance be reviewed by our state's attorney, and we were told that he was good with it. I'm up for discussion.
Yeah, this is a head scratcher for me as well. How late are they on their payments?
Oh, I have one operator that's 6 months behind.
6 months behind. So do you call that? Do you call that?
Called him multiple times.
So you've
He
done,
pays his real estate tax.
so he's done his job.
Yeah.
I mean, he's, yes.
Question, discussion. Does this include Burgos and Flint Keys in the county? So how do you enforce that? Just ask me.
It's on an honor system. These people know that those taxes are due when they start their business. And so we just assume they're gonna do it like they did in the past. They don't do that anymore.
But we should be connected to
Well,
Burgo or Flint Keys.
You're right,
Where they
but
automatically send us the taxes they collect through the county.
they should.
Oh, I would agree.
We all agree. They should.
So we had some discussion during that meeting about, their concern is they're not receiving their revenues like they should or on a timely fashion. And, so that covers Burgos, Airbnbs, motels. And, some of my discussion with them was maybe we should send a letter out to everybody that we know who does Airbnbs, VRBOs.
So I ran an ad in a Dollar Saver and paid for it out of my special fund. So, and it was just putting everybody on notice that, hey, there is a hotel tax in Saline County, an occupancy tax that, and, you know, Airbnbs, VRBOs, they're all responsible to come to the treasurer's office and fill out paperwork and pay a monthly 5% tax. So I have done that, you know, and other than that, you're chasing your tail on onesies, twosies. You have three operators in the county right now that is 94% of the revenue, and one owns both hotels. So it's the Super 8 and the Quality Inn, and then the Economy Inn, the Oak Ray Plaza is the other one, and that makes up 94% of the revenue. Well, the gentleman that operates the Super 8 and Quality Inn is struggling, obviously. So that's where we're at.
A letter, maybe, from the
From the tourism board? Jay?
a letter, a reminder, or, you know.
You know, the tourism board has been years in getting people acquainted with Southern Illinois. We've got a couple of guys that have got videos, or they've got, I think they're on YouTube, but I'm not sure.
I've seen they are on YouTube, yes.
And they're showing the Shawnee and forest and the rocks, and people are coming here, but we don't know who they are. They're spending money here, but we don't know. They don't do anything for the tourism board personally, unless they know that we're established here. We have some information, but they're broke. We don't have any money for information, and that used to be in all the rest stops and restaurants, and people used to know, but all that's gone by the wayside. Everything's on computers and on the internet, and so it's made it really, really hard for them to come up with money. And then when we have festivals and stuff, people flock to that place and with their hand out, we want money for our festivals, and they just give them money. Well, they've overdone it. They've given them all they had. So that's why we've got to come up with something other than somebody really working on this to make new revenue for a tourism board. They're kind of at a standstill.
So,
Yes, Ryan.
Jay, I've been to several tourism board meetings in the past, and part of my discussion was that they came for something. I said, while you're here, I get to tell you what I think too. So the tourism board, I told them, I don't think you've ever spent a dime of tourism money that wasn't for a good cause. They spend a lot of money for fireworks. They spend a lot of money for different
Festivals.
different festivals, whether it's Old Settlers Day or Town and Country's Days, or for all these small festivals in the town. I told them, I said, you're not spending money that's bringing in tourism. I mean, the money comes here for tourism. You're not bringing money from people who's gonna come outside the county and stay in these hotels and these bed and breakfasts where you're collecting this bed tax from. My suggestion to them is they have, the only thing we have for tourism really Shawnee National. And I said they have, if you follow YouTube, you got Hiking with Sean, or New Southern Illinois, or Southern Illinois Cinema, or 3 big YouTubers down here in Southern Illinois. 2 of them are drones. One of them's just what's it called? You put the thing on your hat.
GoPro.
The other guy, Hiking with Sean, just GoPro stuff. But they do fantastic videos. They already do them, and I said for nominal fee, they would probably do a bunch of videos for you, for tourism board, and get people into this area. Hiking. I see people all the time coming to our area hiking when I run into them Dairy Queen or wherever, come into our area.
All right, so,
But moving forward with the ordinance, I do not like those two sections in the ordinance. I know Jeremy doesn't like those sections in the ordinance.
Janine? No?
There's no way of collecting.
It's putting the county and Jeremy in a position of something, he doesn't have the time to go audit books. I'm not sure he has the authority to walk into somebody's business that has to see their books on.
I damn sure wouldn't do it.
So I would ask that we strike those two sections of the ordinance out and then pass the ordinance as it is.
Okay, I'm gonna do that, a motion.
Hang on, I got
Go ahead.
a comment on this. We're all concerned with them being on that honor system. Does the county have a license to do business as a motel, hotel? Because you're looking at trying to figure out a way to make them do this on an honor system. Clearly, we've tried that. Isn't working very well.
Well, for collecting debts, because it is such a honor system, like, and you put it, so if you don't pay the real estate taxes, it's pretty simple. You follow the procedure by statute, and by February 28th, 26th, I think that's what tax on that. I mean, I have to, by statute, so real estate taxes, the unpaid real estate taxes, and I have, and then we got tax buyers. So it's all cleaned up, and this, the gentleman we're talking about, he hasn't paid his real estate taxes. So should he have paid his sales tax, his occupancy tax? Absolutely. But obviously he's been in a bind. So it's, I don't know what else we can do.
There's no checks and balances. They pay a state fee. They're mandated to pay a state fee per stay. But when that money goes into the state, it doesn't say who paid it. It's just money collected off those Airbnbs or hotels. So it doesn't break it down to where we can say, well, this place paid the state this much money. They should have owed us this much money for the bed tax. There's nothing to go off of to determine who's paying, who's not paying, and who's paying what.
Then you have answered the question right there. Instead of worrying about if the honor system works, we already know if you don't pay your taxes on your house, we sell it. There is no ordinance, there is no paperwork anywhere in this county that puts any authority to this county to get the money.
Well, there's a statute.
Why are we not looking at that? I mean, you gotta have a license to do business.
I mean, there's a statute to collect occupancy tax. So, I mean, that's how we are collecting an occupancy tax, is through the statute. Illinois has.
Can we do that on motels? The same theory.
It's the same thing.
I mean, it's the same.
It's
there.
We have the authority to collect it. We just don't know who's staying, how many people staying. Are
Yeah, they
paying?
fill out, I mean, it's a simple report. They fill out a monthly report, show gross receipts to me, and then they write a check, for 5%. And, it's a pretty simple thing. And honestly, these smaller Airbnbs, they, the ones that are doing it, do a great job and they pay monthly. I mean, they do. And, but they're just so onesies and twosies, I mean, it's, like I said, you got hotels and they're 94% of the total tax, I mean, it's revenue. So that's the problem. You get one guy owns 2 of the 3, so that's the issue.
Okay, ordinance committee, you come up with an idea to pass the ordinance by striking those 2. Is that?
Was that a motion you made, Jeremy? Or not Jeremy, Ryan?
That's my motion.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to. Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor to approve this new ordinance with those 2 items Struck. Right? Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Casey Perkins,
No.
Danny Gibbs,
I'm confused.
We're passing the ordinance.
I don't know, but I'm confused. Where has this money been going to begin with? To the tourism board?
Yes.
It's been, so we're taking the money out of the tourism board?
No,
They're not getting the money because these motels are not paying. So they're not getting the money in the coffers. The tourism.
Ferguson's not getting anything from the tourism.
That's the problem.
So let me clarify something for you, Danny. This way you
I've
understand.
got this figured out, okay?
They're wanting monthly from the county. The tourism board is. The problem we're having is the county isn't receiving it monthly. So therefore, they're falling behind on having a bank account, okay? So they're wanting us to put teeth in this, which Ryan did strike out of it. So everything the tourism board has asked for in changing the ordinance, other than removing the 5% going to the museums, nothing else changed from the original ordinance that we did. Correct?
That's right.
What's the tax? 10%, 9%?
5.
5% of those receipts.
But it's 5 or 5.
No, just 5%.
5% can't cover an employee if you want to.
No.
There's a 1% penalty if late, I mean, it's in the past, I've got one gentleman to pay utilizing that. But it's time.
Let's see, yes.
Okay, let's vote.
Danny, yes. Mike Barnhill,
Yes.
Gene Ellis,
Yes.
Todd Horton,
Yes.
Roy Oldham,
Yes.
Ryan Lambert,
Yes.
Justin Travelstad,
Yes.
Chuck DePriest,
Yes.
and Jay Williams.
Yes. Is that it, Brian?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Can I say one more thing?
Sure.
Tourism board, so I've been attending some of the meetings, because they're having cash flow problems. So, but, up until, the last couple of years, they had quite a bit of money. So they came through COVID, and they didn't have anything to do with the money because there wasn't any tourism. So they had a pretty good amount of money in reserve, and then they started giving it away, okay? And then we moved forward and revenue declined some. And I could show them, and I sat down and I showed them, they haven't been budgeting, they haven't been, and so we worked on that with them. And so if they can budget about $40,000 a year, that's probably a good number you can kind of commit to, and you're gonna receive. On a good year, they were doing 60 to 70 in revenue. I mean, so that's, the difference. So they should be able to, if they ratchet some donations giving away to some of the festivals, et cetera, what they're doing. And again, I mean, they're on board, they, work for the county to promote tourism. That's the idea of the whole thing. So they're supposed to spend the money to promote tourism. That is how that statute works. So.
And I think our discussion with them too was, our hotel are getting older. And there's not a lot of people, if they had a choice, a lot of people are just gonna stay with American.
Yes.
Nicer hotel, so anticipate that probably that bed tax is going to continue to go the other direction unless we get somebody coming here and building.
Get a better operator, get it, absolutely.
And the best numbers, as you all well know, are October, November, December. Hard to tell. And the reason why is the Shawnee National Forest, archery deer season, and shotgun deer season. And I don't think we've got that money yet, have we? That's a lot of money.
Well, we do for the economy, and we don't.
Okay. Ready to go? Okay, let's go down to the appointments. Explain this, as you guys know, anytime I probably know how to do it, but anytime and every time I make a reappointment, I always call the director or somebody that's over them and ask them if they show up, number one, number two, would you recommend me to reappoint them? And I do that if I can. So I did that with one out of the two. I was never able to get Roy Glasscock's phone number, but I assume I hadn't heard anything bad about him, so I'm gonna reappoint him.
He's a radio genius.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I see it. So, number one, appointments, Johnny Bob, J.B. James, Saline County Housing Authority, a 5-year reappointment. Entertain a motion. Motion by Mike, Casey Perkins, for a second.
Justin?
Second by Justin Travelstead, roll call vote.
Danny Gibbs?
Yes.
Mike Barnhill?
Yes.
Gene Ellis?
Yes.
Todd Horton?
Yes.
Roy Oldham?
Yes.
Brian Lambert?
Yes.
Justin Travelstead?
Yes.
Chuck DePriest?
Yes.
Casey Perkins?
Yes.
Jay Williams?
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you for that one. Number two, Roy Glasscock, 911 Board. It's a 3-year reappointment. Entertain a motion. Chuck DePriest made the motion. Casey Perkins seconds motion. Roll call vote, please.
Mike Barnhill?
Yes.
Gene Ellis?
Yes.
Todd Horton?
Yes.
Roy Oldham?
Yes.
Brian Lambert?
Yes.
Justin Travelstead?
Yes.
Chuck DePriest?
Yes.
Casey Perkins?
Yes.
Danny Gibbs?
Yes.
Jay Williams?
Yes. Thank you again for that. Okay, now we come to the time on the agenda that we look out the audience and see if the visitors have anything to say. If so, you have 5 minutes to do it. Yes. Would you stand up, please? Yeah, okay.
I just wanted to let Mike and Roy know that $90,000 is a worst case scenario number. Because not everybody in that contract is going to take off and use all of those days, because I'm one of them. I save my days. So I just wanted you guys to make sure you guys were aware.
I was not.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? If not, then I would entertain a motion to adjourn to February the 26th, 2020.
Jay. Would you like to announce the website that this is being filmed live on as well? So people will be able to. I'm still going live with mine until we know our county is working right and that the word gets out. So, Mary, would you like to announce the actual website?
From what I understand, that you go on to youtube.com/@Saline County Clerk. And it should be on there live, and then you should be able to watch it later also.
I don't know exactly how that works.
You can go to just go to YouTube.
Yeah, I know how to get
Yeah,
there.
and then you go to the magnifying glass and just type @Saline County Clerk. But Saline County Clerk, that was the 3 words I left in there.
Yes.
Here's,
And it'll take you straight to it.
yeah, but the question is, how do we get that on Saline County? How do we get that on our website?
You're just putting it on.
And it'll be a
YouTube.
link,
You're just
that
putting
you'll
it on.
just, we'll copy the link and put it on, and then you'll be able to just click on the link.
Okay, so
Me and
that's-
Julie are gonna try to figure out.
Yeah, they're working with the web lady. I don't have anything to do with it.
They're working on getting
So
it
is
to
it
where.
done? Or you can do it now?
It's not on there live, we're gonna try to put it on there tomorrow so you can rewatch it back, because the website lady hasn't told us how to put it on there to go live yet.
Okay, I didn't want you guys to go home and watch this meeting again.
Could you give us the website again?
It's well, you go to youtube.com.
No.
And then when you get there, you search the
The
symbol.
Saline County
It's-
website.
Oh, that is slingcounty@illinois.gov. I think you spelled county out, slingcounty.illinois.gov.
They're not gonna be able to watch it tonight.
They can watch it, they can watch it right now.
Yeah,
But
okay.
you can go to YouTube and watch it right now, it doesn't have to be from the government.
I think the question is, yes, you can go and watch it to YouTube right now, but as far as going to the Saline County website, you can't until they work out the differences, which might be a day or two.
Yeah, we're
Correct.
working on it. We're
We're working
trying.
on it right now, so. Anyway, anything else? Hey, Chuck.
I move we adjourn.
Oh, motion to adjourn.
like to make one comment that Mary just told me, because she expressed to me how this operates. Because anytime anyone's ever been in the courtroom, I've been in the audience and couldn't hear the judge. I've been in the audience and couldn't hear the attorneys. And Mary stated to me that if you have a hearing problem, which I have, they will allow you to use headphones to hear what's going on.
We do have an assisted hearing device for our courtrooms, and it does work. And I think the box is here.
It's this little box right there, and there's,
Great.
I think that's something great
It is.
that the people need to know.
Thank you. Motion, had the motion, I need a second.
Danny,
Second?
Danny.
Okay, he made a second. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we'll see you the February the 26th, 2026.
She just says she was turned it off. You don't have to turn it, you'll get there.